Namaskar, good morning, and welcome once again to the next session of MMPC 017 Advanced Strategic Management. And I am Dr. Siran Mukerji, Additional Director in Ignu Regional Center, Noida. Well, friends, as usual, as we do generally, let us quickly go through the course structure first before moving on to the session of this day. Course structure, you had seen that we have four blocks in MMPC 017. The first block, which we had completed in the first session, was pertaining to Introduction to Corporate Management, which had two units: Corporate Management and Overview and Corporate Policy. Then we had the second block, which is titled Corporate Level Growth Strategy, and which again has which has three units: intensive growth strategies, integration and diversification growth strategies, and strategic alliances. So that we had completed in the second and the third session. Well, today is the fourth session, and today we're going to do the remaining portion of strategic alliances, which was left out in the previous session. And also we will move on to the block 3, the international strategy, which has got three units: internationalization process and evaluation of market risk assessment, entry into the international markets. But today we will try to first of all complete strategic alliances of the block 2, and we'll also try to complete internationalization process, evaluation of market risk assessment. So let's first go to the strategic alliances. This tells us about the three units in the block 3. Benefits of strategic alliances. If you remember, we discussed the strategic alliances last time, in which we had seen that strategic alliances are those very mega level, major alliances, major joint ventures, which various companies they undertake, and these joint alliances or these joint ventures, they generally, what happens is, due to various reasons, the companies need to merge, not really merge, they need to go into alliance, they need to go into a pact, into an agreement with other companies. It could be either due to let's say integration process, or it could be due to any other, maybe it could be in order to reduce the manufacturing cost. The one of the major companies could be or shifting its manufacturing units into, or shifting its manufacturing base to other countries, so as to have better economies of scale. So there could be many reasons for strategic alliances. And strategic alliances, as I said, it's strategic because it involves very many important steps, and it brings in major changes in the policies of the company. So what are the benefits of strategic alliances? Well, benefits of strategic alliances, the first one is obviously, when the company wants to expand, it would want to go into new markets. So with the help of strategic alliance, with the help of this process, or this process helps helps the market, helps the companies to enter new markets, then reducing manufacturing costs. Just now, as I said, economies of scale. For attaining economies of scale, that is to reduce the cost of production and have larger number of units manufactured. When we want to increase our manufacture, and at the same time we want to reduce the cost of manufacturing, we can say that we are looking towards economies of scale. So in order to reduce the manufacturing costs, the companies also, they go into strategic alliance with other companies. Then developing and diffusing technology. So sometimes it is also seen that there are certain companies which go into alliance. They try to have agreement with other companies, and wherein what they try to do is, this other company might be technologically very advanced. So the company A would like to uh, take advantage or gain from this technological advancement of the other company, so that then also they go into strategic alliance. Then also reduce financial risk and share cost of R&D. That also could be one of the reasons, that also could be one of the benefits of strategic alliance. When, let's say, company A and company B, they come together to manufacture certain products which was being maybe manufactured singly or alone by company A. So obviously reduces the financial risk, and they are able to share the cost of research and development. And also, the final advantage of strategic alliance is to achieve or ensure competitive advantage. So when competitive advantage is like, when there is a particular company in the industry that let's say there are other competing companies in the industry, and one company could have competitive advantage over the others due to various factors. So getting into an alliance, getting into a joint venture with other company could result in increasing the competitive advantage, or having a better competitive advantageous position as compared to the other competitors in the industry. So due to these many, and there are other benefits also, but due to these main basic benefits that a company can accrue by undergoing strategic alliance with other companies. That's why they generally, the companies nowadays, you would have seen that most of the companies, they go for strategic alliances with other companies. Thus they are able to accrue all these benefits, these advantages. Now we but then it's just not advantage, and there are certain risks, there are certain costs that the companies have to pay when they go into such kind of alliance, when they go into such kind of agreement, when they go into such kind of joint venture. Well, the first and the foremost risk or cost is, is the cultural or language barriers. So basically, when we're talking of risk of strategic alliances, we are also talking of barriers that hurdle the process of coming together in or operating together. So one of the major hurdle is cultural and language barriers. So here, we are talking of MNCs, we are talking of multinational companies, multinational corporations. So when we're talking of MNCs, then you know that every country has its own language, different culture, different traditions, and the people who are working in these companies, they are deeply rooted into their own culture, they're deeply rooted into their own traditions. The language, or this, let's say, the mother tongue is different. So don't you think that a company which is, let's say, let's say a company wherein the people are speaking Hindi and English, and it gets into a joint venture with a company which is wherein people are speaking French, or people are speaking in Chinese, or people are speaking Japanese. So don't you think there's a completely different background? One company, which is an Indian company, has got in the Indian ethos, Indian culture, and Indian traditions. People who are working, they are following the Indian traditions, and they're using different language. They speak, they're communicating in different language. Whereas it goes and into an agreement with a company wherein they following they speaking Chinese. They have different food, they have different culture, they have different traditions, they have different background. So it involves a lot of, when two companies of such vastly different background come together, then obviously there is a need for a lot of adjustment. There is a need for a lot of what do you call, mutually, they have to mutually accept each other in spite of all the differences. But sometimes these barriers, they cause a lot of difficulties also for the two different companies to operate. That's why it is the cultural differences, the language barriers, these are considered to be one of the risks of strategic alliance. Then lack of trust. See, there should be a thorough planning, there should be thorough communication, there should be proper understanding between the two companies. Then only they'll be able to work together. Otherwise, how will they work? They have to work together only when they are they work to, they have trust in each other. Because here, see, one company is working with the other company, and let's say they are jointly trying to manufacture, they're jointly trying to manufacture product, they're jointly trying to produce the services or provide the services to the customer. So if they don't trust each other, then do you think they will be able to work? They cannot work. Then loss of autonomy. See, when a company is working on its own, when a company is operating on its own, it is completely independent. uh, it has its own policies, it has its own plan of action, it has its own plans, and it does the work, the functions are carried out. But wherein you come and get into an agreement with some other company, there is an alliance, then obviously the autonomy, the freedom, the independence is lost. So then it would mean a kind of mutual understanding has to be developed. So that mutual understanding perhaps might be possible, mutual understanding will be developed, it will be very well accepted, both the companies will accept each other, both the companies will accept each other's culture, with each other's language, both the companies will have no problem communicating in spite of language differences of language. But then it's not guaranteed. It might just be possible that the things which they look for, that might not ultimately result into the kind of objectives that they need to achieve. Then there are the lack of, sometimes there is also lack of clear goals and objectives. So if the goals and objectives of both the companies are not clear, if they don't have clear cut goals and objectives, if one company does not have a clear understanding of the goals and objectives of the other company, or let's say the long term plans of the other company, or the other company also does not have clear understanding of what exactly the company A or the first company has in its mind when it's coming into a joint venture with it, then they will not be able to perform the way it is expected. They will not be able to achieve the objectives together in a joint manner, and that will result into a lot of other issues, lot of other company problems. Lack of coordination between management teams. See, here we are talking of multinational companies, we are talking of companies across border, we are talking of transnational operations. So the coordination is the key. If there is not much of coordination between the management teams, if there is not much of coordination between the various functional departments, functional divisions of the two companies, then again the results will not be as they are expected. So lack of coordination is yet another risk of strategic alliance, because these companies are operating at two different countries, or not only two, they are operating at multiple locations. So when they are operating at multiple locations, then it calls for much more in-depth and detailed coordination. And if that is not there, or even if it is limited, it will cause a lot of disturbances in the functioning of the organization. Then differences in management style. See, every since we are talking of cultural differences, we are talking of traditional differences, we are talking of language differences, we are talking of differences in goals, we are talking of differences in objectives, we are talking of different set of people, completely different set of people. So each company would have its own way of managing the organization, and naturally this would be different. Like, two families have their own way of living. Similarly, two companies would have its own way of living, have own way of operating. And what is required here is proper communication and coordination between the two, so that one knows what the other is doing, and whether what both of them are doing, whether they are converging finally to the achievement of their individual objectives. So difference in management style is yet another major risk. in when it comes to strategic alliance. Then lack of commitment. See that the success of strategic alliance lies in the commitment of the top level management, because top level the commitment of the top level management will will in fact be an example for the people who are working at the lower level. So if at the lower level, the people, the employees who are working at the lower level, they'll always look up towards the top level management to see how they are getting along. If they see that both the company, the top level management of both the companies are getting along each other in a very very congenial manner, in a very very cordial manner, and there is no apparent lack of communication, there is no apparent differences of opinion, there is no apparent mismanagement, or there is no apparent coordination differences between the top management of the two companies, then obviously the people who are at the operational level, they will follow them. So the top management of both the companies, they have to show the commitment, they have to show the trust, and they have to show that yes, this particular alliance is, if successful, is going to be beneficial for both the companies in the long run. Then also another risk of strategic alliance is it might be the ground for creating a prospective competitor. So it might just be possible that one company comes into an alliance with another company, and after some time it again splits. Things don't go along well and it splits. But when it splits, obviously it is splitting with the knowledge and the know-how of the other company. Then obviously it becomes a potential or a prospective competitor. And then there is also potential for conflicts if they don't get along well. Factors contributing to success of strategic alliance, as I said, commitment. A strategic alliance will be successful, we can say it will be successful only when the senior management is 100% committed to the strategic alliance. So as I said, the lower level employees, they will always look up towards the senior level employees. So it is the senior management or the senior level management, they, or the top level management, they have to set an example, and they will be setting example by demonstrating adequate level, or let's say optimum level of commitment towards this agreement, towards this joint venture. If if there is a slightest sign of disagreement between the two parties, or let's say the two companies, obviously it will percolate down to the lower level employees, and then the results will not be accrued as that is expected. Then factors another factor is similarity of management philosophy and management style. If there is similarity of management philosophies, if the management style, the way of functioning, the operation or the way of operating, if that is again similar between the two companies, then the journey becomes easier, it becomes smooth. Otherwise, there'll be a lot of hurdles, there'll be a lot of barriers in the path, in the journey towards alliance. Then again, there should be frequent performance feedback, because why, the people, the company is located, the alliance, the joint venture is located at different locations, and different locations, as I said, they need to communicate. So let's say the top management is at France, and they have their joint venture with five companies which are at five different locations in five different countries. So the main company, that which is located at France, it needs to know what A is doing, what B is doing, what C is doing, what D is doing, so and so on and so forth. So that's why continuous process of evaluation and feedback is essential to ensure that the joint venture or the strategic alliance is performing as per the stated goals, as per the objectives, or as per the path that has been marked out. Now again, another factor that is like, the goals, the objectives have to be clearly defined. There should be no scope of any kind of ambiguity in the goals and objectives, and there should be no scope of any ambiguity, any confusion in the minds of the employees who are coming together in this joint venture. Then again, there's a requirement for proper planning, because there are a lot of different people involved in this process. There are a lot of different locations, many places where the process is being carried out. So thorough planning, and planning is required, so that the work that is expected to be carried out, that is carried out as per the original plans. Then there should be, everybody should know what he or she is required to do. So, which means that every person's roles need to be clearly defined. Then it should not be a national vision, it should not be a regional vision. The vision then of the company will change, will alter from local or national level vision to the international or global level vision, because then their horizon, their thoughts will be much much wider. Then partner selection, again, the way the partner is being selected, the partner company is being selected, that again plays a very very important role in the success of strategic alliance. Communication between the partners, I've already said all these things, is very very important. Continuous communication will help in the coordination between the various employees of the different companies which are party to the alliance. Dimensions to consider when entering a strategic alliance. See, obviously we have to give a proper thought, proper planning, and then choose the partner carefully. There should be clarity of thoughts, there should be clarity of ideas, there should be clarity of purpose, and we should know what we are doing presently, and by this strategic alliance, what we are looking at. And that is applicable to both the companies, or let's say if there are three companies which are coming into a strategic alliance, it should be very very clear for all the three companies. Now the selection of project, what kind of project we are selecting in this joint venture, in this strategic alliance, again, because the kind of project we are selecting, that will determine the resources that are required. So we have to, it's like, they are dependent on each other. So the kind of project we select, we choose, that will determine the raw material that are needed, and at the same time, what kind of raw material, what kind of resources we have, that again has an effect on the kind of project we are choosing. So they are interlinked with each other. And then understanding of each other's business process, that is again a very very important dimension to consider while entering a strategic alliance. We should have a thorough understanding of the company, what is its policy, what are its strategies, what are its plans, what are its objectives. Then only, what is its mission, what is its vision, then only we will be able to have a successful alliance, a successful joint venture. Then balance contribution of partners, who's going to do what, who's going to contribute how much we need to depend on each other. So all these things, then the trust, the integrity, top level commitment, these are all the various prerequisites, I'll call them prerequisites for entering a strategic alliance and for having a successful alliance. Again, the last but not the least is have an exit strategy. Both the companies, or the three companies, or the organizations which are coming together in this particular alliance, in this joint venture, they should know, or they should jointly develop an exit strategy also. That if in case things don't work out the way they are expected to, then how these companies are going to again split. That again, the exit strategy, generally we see that the exit from these conditional alliance, generally the exit is bitter. So there should be a proper exit strategy, so that there is no bitterness when the companies they go apart. Okay, now we go into the sixth unit, internationalization process. The sixth unit, when we complete this sixth unit, I will just quickly go back to our course structure. The sixth unit, internationalization process, is a part of block 3, which is titled international strategy. So when we by the time you complete the internationalization process unit, the sixth unit, you should be able to understand what is the process of internationalization. You should know what is this process of internationalization. There are certain stages. It's not that the companies, they decide to operate at an international level. They decide to go transnational. It does not mean that today they are national, tomorrow they go uh, international. It doesn't happen that way. There are number of stages, there are numerous stages, there are numerous phases which every company has to undergo when it decides to foray into international markets. So there are, by the end of this unit, you should be able to understand the stages of internationalization, have a complete understanding of the operational advantages and disadvantages of MNCs. See, when we are talking of international operations, when we are talking of going international, which obviously it means an MNC into being. So, what are the advantages of an MNC? What are the disadvantages of an MNC? That also you should, I hope that you would have an understanding at the end of this unit. And then the importance of models. There are certain models of internationalization. So, we'll see what is the importance of these models. Now, let's quickly go into the process of internationalization. Well, internationalization is a process when different organizations, different companies, they get together and they operate at the international market. So that means, what it means, that it will not operate in one country. It will not have one kind of customers. It will have customers from different socio cultural, religious, economical, political background. So this is the process of internationalization. And when we are talking of internationalization, see, we are talking of thinning boundaries. So boundaries are getting thinner and thinner. As we say, the world is a global village now. So the boundaries, with the help of internationalization, with the process of internationalization, when the company, a local, a national level company operating in one country, when it decides that no, it has to expand and it will now manufacture its products and supply these products to its customers or potential customers across the globe, or let's say across the region, let's say across Asia, across Europe, then in that case, the boundaries are getting thin and the entire landscape of conducting the business is also changing. And we are looking at greater industrialization, and this will only happen when the individual government governments of individual companies, that is the governments of each company in each of the country, they are favorable. They have favorable policies. They welcome international other companies. They welcome internationalization. They welcome companies from the other countries, foreign companies, to come and operate in their own land. Then only internationalization can happen. Now, why do we require internationalization? The first and foremost reason for internationalization is to achieve economies of scale. So when a particular company sees that, while it is manufacturing different products, and with the manufacturing process, in the manufacturing process, it sees that the cost is going up. So it might just be possible that the employees, or the cost of hiring employees, or let's say the human resources, is much more economical in other countries. So obviously that will bring down the cost of manufacturing. So in order to achieve the economies of scale, in order to reduce the manufacturing cost, and in the same, let's say, if let's say $1,000 is being spent in manufacturing of, let's say, 5 units of a particular thing. So it might just be possible, the same thousand with the same $1,000, the company is able to manufacture 25 units of a particular product. So that is an example of economies of scale. So in order to achieve economies of scale, the companies, they go for internationalization process, then avail multiple opportunities in the international market. Once the market stagnates, once the company sees that the industry is going towards stagnation, and then it would like to look towards other opportunities, it would like to look towards outside markets so as to increase its business. So that is another reason of internationalization. Then lower operating costs, that obviously goes with economies of scale. Then diversification, when the company wants to diversify, and diversification could be because of integration, like it is into manufacturing a particular product and it wants to and it is getting its raw material from different companies, and it could also be possible that this raw material is coming from abroad, from different countries abroad. So, and naturally then the production cost will be very high. So it would want that, why depend on external suppliers? Why not go into a kind of joint venture? Why not go into a strategic alliance with the companies which are manufacturing the raw material? Thus, your dependence on external entities gets reduced. Then government incentives, that is another reason. There might just be possible that the certain government in in a country goes into expansion policies. It opens up the market for outside players. So that again would become a reason for internationalization. It would be a reason that different companies from abroad, the MNCs from abroad will come, like it happened in India, if you remember. It happened in India in 1990s, in 19 late 80s and early 90s. India went into opening up the local market. And that's how today we see that all foreign brands, all different manufacturers, different foreign companies, they are all operating in India now. Earlier, we used to get only Indian products in our country. Now we see, whether it is cosmetics, whether it is cars, whether it is any other, not only cars, automobile industry, cosmetic industry, apparel industry, leather industry, food products, everywhere we see that we apart from Indian products, we are also getting a lot of foreign products. And these foreign products again are of two kinds. One, those are manufactured abroad and they are just being exported to India. The second one is, there are these foreign companies which are going into joint venture projects with the local Indian companies, and these foreign products are manufactured in India for the Indian customers, or sometimes even these products are manufactured in India and then they are again sent abroad to different countries. They're supplied abroad to different countries. So there are so many reasons, for internationalization. We cannot remain successful. The business will not be successful in a closed door environment. So companies have all opened up, looking towards better opportunities, looking towards better grounds of operations, looking towards bigger markets, larger scope of operations. And all these reasons are the reasons for internationalization. Now there are 5 stages of internationalization. When a company, a national domestic level company, moves to transnational operations, it goes through 5 important stages. First is domestic operations, when it operates within its own country. Let's say there is a confectionery company, okay? They're into food products, they're into manufacturing chocolates, toffees, biscuits, etc. It manufactures the chocolates, toffees, confectionaries only for its own country. Naturally, the orientation is ethnocentric. Whatever the local people, whatever the people of the country, they would manufacture the products, the biscuits, the confectionaries as per the taste of the local population. Then it goes into foreign operations, that is export. So what it does, the manufacturing still happens in that country. However, the market gets expanded. The products are exported abroad. So the other countries, they get the product, they get the confectionaries, but these confectionaries are all made in, let's say, that particular country. Suppose the company is based at UK, so, or let's say the company is based at Switzerland. So then there are, now you would have seen there are n number of chocolate companies, chocolate products, chocolates that we get in India. They are not manufactured in India. They are manufactured abroad. They are manufactured in Switzerland. They're manufactured in Germany. They're manufactured in Belgium. So this is what, this is the second stage. These products are in the second stage of internationalization. Then we have the third. Third stage is joint venture or subsidiaries. Now, in this case, what happens is some of the operations of the company is transferred to the foreign nation in order to reduce the cost of operations. And there again, the kind of product, the nature of services or the products, that would be mixed orientation. They would be catering to the market locally also. Let's say Swiss chocolates, they will be catering to the market in Switzerland or in nearby countries in Europe. At the same time, these chocolates will be catering to the market in India or in Southern Asia, let's say. Then the fourth stage is multinational companies. These are big, giant, mega sized companies. They are not into manufacturing only one product, they are multiple multiple production. They also having multiple production facilities across the globe, across the borders. Naturally, when we are talking of across the borders, there would be more of decentralization, higher coordination required, more of communication required, and they would be catering to the needs of multi ethnic, multicultural clientele. So that's why we are saying it is it would, these companies would have polycentric orientation. Then the fifth and the final stage is the transnational operation, which we see the most of the companies nowadays, mega companies, the big, let's say, automobile industry, even the food industry, they are into transnational operations. Transnational operations means they're just not two countries. There are number of, you would have seen nowadays, I will not take any particular name of any particular company, but you would have seen nowadays there are so many companies. They are, the various foreign products are now, you will find it in India. You go to Bangladesh, you get it in Bangladesh. You go to Sri Lanka, you get it in Sri Lanka. You go to Mauritius, you will find that product in Mauritius. You go to Tanzania, you find that product in Tanzania. Or for that matter, you go to Croatia, you find the product in Croatia. You go to Azerbaijan, you get the product in Azerbaijan. You go to Japan, you'll find the same product in Japan. You go to, let's say, Saudi Arabia, you'll find that product in Saudi Arabia. So this is what, this is an example of, transnational operations, the product being manufactured at different locations across the globe and catering to the needs of people, catering to the needs of customers spread all across the globe. So these are the five stages of internationalization. What is the operational advantages of a multinational company? Superior technical know-how. Naturally, if one, instead of one company, we have five companies coming together. So don't you think five different kinds of brains are coming together? So obviously, one company which is foraying into an agreement with the other company could be, let's say, more technologically advanced, and that could be one of the reasons of an alliance. So superior technical know-how, larger size of operations, larger economies of scales, lower input costs. Let's say a product which is being let's say the cost of manufacturing a particular car in a particular country is, let's say, $10,000. Now, it could just be possible that the same car is manufactured in another company in $3,000. So that reduces the input costs. Then, access to overseas raw material. The moment you're going global, so there would be, let's say, there's the food products. Now we need to buy, let's say, cinnamon, cloves, cardamom for our confectionaries, and it might just be very, 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 very expensive in our country. Now, suppose you go into a joint venture in a country where this is locally grown. So you would obviously locally source it. So once you're locally sourcing it, so you're getting cloves, you're getting cardamom, you're getting, let's say, cinnamon from that country. And there maybe it could be just $10 a kg. Whereas in the other country where it was being manufactured so far, the confectionery was being manufactured so far, maybe that company, let's say the clove was $100. So obviously, don't you think the because of this multinational company, this agreement, the costs are going down? You have access to better quality, cheaper raw materials. Then again, the brand image and goodwill of the company, that again it improves, it goes up. So then there's financial flexibility. The policies, let's say the government policies in one country might be quite stringent, whereas the policies for expansion, or let's say policies for conduct of business, that might be very, very business friendly in another country. So the country where the company is operating, where the it is quite stringent, the rules and regulations are quite stringent, licensing agreements are quite stringent, that company will tend to benefit, tend to gain when it is operating in another company, in another country, where it is where the local norms, the rules, regulations, licensing policies, those are much more flexible. It will tend to gain, obviously. So because of all these advantages, we see nowadays most of the companies are operating at not one location, but they are operating from multiple locations for multiple kinds of customers and customers and people, of course. What are the operational disadvantages? Now, it is just not win-win, okay? There are also disadvantages. There are also demerits of operational, let's say, operating from different countries. Business risk, obviously, because then if you're operating in one country, vis-a-vis you're operating in different countries, then your operations in all these countries are individually affected by the local norms, by the local policies, by the political situation. It might just be possible that there is suddenly political instability in one country. Now your business in that particular country will get hampered seriously. So but then, the companies, what they do, they weigh out all these things. So if you remember, when we were just a few minutes back, when we were talking of strategic alliances, what we spoke of the prerequisites, the conditions that the companies have to study before going into any kind of strategic alliances. So one of the prerequisites was thorough understanding and planning of thorough understanding of the rules and regulations of the country where it is going to operate in the future. Then regulations in the host country, different legal systems. See, the legal system, the economic background of every country is different. And when the company is operating in one country and it plans to expand into another one, go and look into providing products and services to people in another country. So obviously, then you have to follow their rules and regulations. You have to meet out their legal systems, which again might not be so easily possible. Then, as I gave you the example of political risk, a lot of political risk when you are operating at a global level. Operational difficulties, like I said, there would be language difference in the language, there would be difference in culture, there difference in religion, there difference in traditions, there are different in even, like for example, there could be difference in the office timings, difference in food, difference in even weekends. There are some countries wherein the weekend is Saturday and Sunday. There are some countries where the weekend is Friday and Saturday. So you see, the company which is operating in a country where the weekend is Saturday and Sunday, it it uh, it decides to get into an alliance with another company which has its weekend on on Friday and Saturday. So again, they would require a lot of mutual adjustment. They'll have to change their way of operating. They have to change their holidays accordingly. Then let's say there is a company which is operating in India. Now, the list of holidays in India and a company which goes and starts operating in the Middle East, the list of holidays there would be different. So, there are whole gamut of factors which at times are advantageous for multinational operations. At times they become disadvantageous. They seriously hinder the operations. But then all the companies have to balance it out. All the companies have to understand and balance it out, meet out as per the as per the different policies, as per the different practices, and thus move on. Then the models of international trade. Well, Frank Bradley suggested the main model of internationalization depends on PLC, that is product life cycle, then FDI and transaction cost. These are the three main factors on which the internationalization process of the business it depends. Now we'll go into the life cycle model of international trade. Vernon in 1966 introduced the international product life cycle model, in which Vernon said that internationalization process, whenever a company is moving from national level to global level, then this internationalization process, it is closely dependent, or it is closely related to the kind of product life cycle the products are following. So now let's go and study the IPLC, that is International Product Life Cycle. Well, there are three stages: stage of new product, stage of mature product, and stage of standardized product. Let's go through these quickly. Stage of a new product: manufactured in a developed country, develops technologically advanced product. These products are sold to the customers in the high income group of the home country. Then, as and when the word spreads in other countries among other consumers about the benefits of the use of these products, then the demand will increase. And as the demand increases, the production also increases. The company has to increase its production, and that increase in production might not be that advantageous in the country, in the parent country. And the parent company then tries to in the parent company let's say the parent company in the parent country tries to shift its manufacturing into other countries, obviously for economies of scale. What is the second stage of IPLC? That is stage of mature product. Now the product is not at the nascent stage, it is not at the developmental stage. The product is at the maturity stage, wherein it is very commonly, very popularly used in the parent country, and it has become very popular in the other countries. The competition has also increased because in the other countries, or even in the parent country, there will be other companies which have also started manufacturing these products or similar products. So, as a result, the parent company or the innovating company or the innovator in the developed country gets challenged that no, we have to now do something different. So what does it do? The innovator becomes an MNC, because the moment it gets challenged, its competitive advantage also gets reduced. Initially, it is at a competitive advantageous position. Its advantage, that is, it is number one in the market. That position, it has got maximum market share. That position comes down. So that it does not fall, its stature does not fall. The company immediately goes into innovation. It goes into finding out different ways of operating. It goes into finding out different ways of carrying out the business so that it doesn't face losses. Then comes the stage of the standardized product. Principal markets are stagnated. Let's say it is manufacturing and supplying the goods in America, and it is supplying the goods in UK, it is supplying the goods in France or in other parts of Western Europe, and the market has got stagnated. Now, can it afford to remain stagnated? No, it has immediately got to find out new markets. So then what it will do? It will go for expansion. It will go for strategic alliance. It will go for further internationalization so that it can maintain its competitive advantageous position. It does not fall, or it does not get eroded. So then what it will try to do, it will also try to standardize the production process. So the kind of production process, or the way it is the company is operating in its parent country, let's say in America, and the way it has been operating in UK, the way it has been operating in Western Europe, it will try to standardize those operations and operate in Asia also. So the market base automatically gets increased, the number of customers gets increased, and it will, what it will do, it will look into the regional likes and dislikes, it will look into the regional tastes, it will look into the culture, the tradition of the other countries, and accordingly it will try to customize the product. It will standardize, but at the same time it will customize the product, and customize the product with suitable pricing strategies in order to cater to the needs of various customers in different countries. So this is basically the concept of IPLC. Now, there's another model which is called the Uppsala internationalization model. This model was given by Johansson and Wiedersheim Paul, and also in 1975, and also Johansson and Van in 1977. They belong to the Uppsala University in Sweden, and they developed this model of internationalization, wherein this model has got four stages. What is the first stage? Sporadic export or irregular exporting. So it is similar to the first stage of IPLC, wherein the products are manufactured locally in the parent country, and apart from catering to the needs of the local people, it also tries to export these products to various to some companies abroad, but this is not a regular process. Then the stage two, export through independent representatives. Like, I gave you the example of Swiss chocolates. There are certain Swiss chocolate companies which are manufacturing these chocolates in Switzerland. They are supplying to their local people, the local citizens, and their own Swiss population, but at the same time, they are supplying these chocolates to Indian population also, and through Indian representatives, or we have Indian importers who are importing these chocolates, and then they are distributing them, selling them in the Indian market. Then we have the stage three, establishment of foreign sales subsidiary. So this is what this example I was telling you about. We have foreign sales subsidiaries who are picking up these products from different countries and then selling them locally in the local market in the other countries. And the stage four, as per this Uppsala internationalization model, is the foreign market entry through production and manufacturing units. Now what happens is, now the contrary to the Swiss chocolate company, there are certain confectionery companies, there are certain chocolate companies which are manufacturing chocolates not only in their parent company, but they parent country, but they are also manufacturing chocolates in the other countries. And here comes customization. So it will manufacture chocolates, let's say, not only in UK, US, Switzerland, it will manufacture in Australia, it will manufacture in India, it will manufacture in, let's say, even in UAE. Or let's say there are certain perfume companies. The perfumes are manufactured. Let's say it's a French company manufacturing French perfumes, and then it has also a manufacturing unit in, let's say, UAE. So the perfume is also manufactured, or range of perfumes are also manufactured in UAE for the local market, and also not only local market, they might even get exported to India and other regions. So this is the Uppsala internationalization model. Now we go to the unit 7, that is evaluation of markets and risk assessment. By the end of this unit, you would be able to understand the risk assessment framework of international trade. What are the different kinds of risk that the company might have to look into? Then the causes of risk, what is the cause of risk of going international, and also how the risk can be mitigated, or the how the risk which a company faces while moving into foreign markets, while moving into foreign operational zones, how these risks can be managed. Well, risk and market evaluation. As a part of market evaluation, whenever a company is moving into a foreign country for operation, it has to see the merits and demerits. What is it going to evaluate? It is going to evaluate at three levels. The first level is merits and demerits of foreign investment and the risks assessed. This is the first level of evaluation. The second level of evaluation is analysis of main factors to be considered before investing in foreign markets. So before you invest in the foreign market, you would also see your own suitability. Whether do you have the resources? Do you have the expertise? Do you have the knowledge? Or do you have the need of foraying into other markets? If you really feel that you really need to expand into foreign markets, if you really feel that you need to go global, then only you would take the decision of going global. So this is the second factor that needs to be evaluated before going into any kind of foreign alliance or strategic alliance. What is the third factor? The third factors are political risk, financial risk, and the economic risk. What is the political risk of going into we know the political condition of our country where the company is operating. Now the company try is thinking of operating in, let's say, some countries in Africa. So we have to see the political scenario there, we have to see the financial scenario there, we have to see the economic scenario there, whether the people there, what is their per capita income, whether they can afford, is there a need for such kind of products there, will they, what is the acceptability level of these products in the market there, whether the people will accept our products, is it going as per their social ethos. There are certain, there might be some apparel companies. Now those dresses, those apparels might be suitable for a certain country, it might not be suitable for another country. Let's say there is a particular company which is into manufacturing winter wear. Now if you're going into if you're pouring into you have to see whether the country where you are going for expansion, whether that country has got the market sufficient potential for selling winter wear there, whether it has that kind of winter. So these are the various things that the companies have to do an in-depth study into. They have to have a comprehensive understanding, comprehensive know-how of these factors. Then only once it does such kind of in-depth study, then only it will be able to be successful in its transnational operations. Now, risk assessment, every country, as I said, different political background, different economic scenario, different financial scenario, different socio-cultural backgrounds. So different countries have accordingly, different countries have different risks and opportunities. Management has to, the top level management has to assess these risks and opportunities, risks and potentials for growth. And this risk assessment is done in two steps. It will first of all, it will assess the country as a whole, that is the political stability, how the government is, how the local people are, whether it is the government is supportive or not, whether how is the economy of that country, whether it is a politically, economically stable country or not. It makes sense to foray into a foreign market where there is political stability, where there is economic stability. Otherwise, there is no use. Then the second level of assessment is assessment of investment risk. Any kind of expansion involves a lot of foreign investment, lot of money, which is a major strategic decision. So that again, assessment has to be done. Then what are the causes of risk? There are a number of causes of risk. The economic objectives of the country. There could be a country which there could be restrictions by the country in profit or royalty repatriation. That is an economic. You have to see whether the country where you are going to expand, whether they have any kind of cap or any kind of bar. So well, we will carry on with this. We have already studied the risk assessment. we have studied the levels of the steps in risk assessment. Now what we'll do is